Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, we'll see.
After you told your story last week, I thought, well, that's a podcast. I should have had him wait and just tell it fresh here. So I'll probably ask you stuff I asked you before.
I can't even remember our previous conversation.
that's
Once
good.
I sleep, it's gone.
Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, we'll see.
After you told your story last week, I thought, well, that's a podcast. I should have had him wait and just tell it fresh here. So I'll probably ask you stuff I asked you before.
I can't even remember our previous conversation.
that's
Once
good.
I sleep, it's gone.
Welcome to Inside Look. I'm Jeff Lyons, joined by my coworker, Caleb Freeland. You're our director for the 10 o'clock news evening shows. You've been here quite a while. And Caleb, actually, you have the distinction. You were my first podcast guest, and that one never went out of the building.
Yeah, for good reason, though. We were hammering out the kinks.
It was my learner permit. Yeah, we were trying to figure it out. But you've got an interesting story to tell, and it's taken you around the world. So we're going to get right into it. But before we do that, just because a lot of people, nobody other than us, saw the first one, how'd you wind up at Channel 14?
Well, I went to Vincent University, and I studied broadcast. So I was like, well, now that I'm done with my associate's degree, I was hoping to get on here. And a former 14 employee at Vincent University actually recommended me to Jason, who is my boss. And
Jason Gravens.
Yes.
A soon podcast guest.
Ooh,
we're working through
exciting.
the whole the production department here. So you wind up at 14. I had you in class when I was teaching at USI. I keep running
That's
into
right.
people like
Yeah.
that. And
Small world.
Yeah, and you really had that technical know-how. You knew how to do stuff, or you could figure it out. So I thought, well, this guy's going to go far. He'll probably own the place before I get out of it. So you came to 14, and just briefly, what do you do on a daily basis here?
Yeah, so when we come in, I do some log prepping for the next day, and all that looks like is we're making sure all the commercials are in for tomorrow, all the shows are in, because not everything airs live. They're all,
Sure.
or a lot is pre-recorded. Not our local newscasts; those are live.
So you're making sure that we're making money.
Yeah.
essentially. And then when the show comes on, you're one of the directors who makes sure the right video comes up, the right microphones are turned on. So you got a little high-stress job, and yet you find time for some pretty interesting hobbies, which is why you're here.
Yeah.
So you're an airsoft guy.
Yeah, so when I graduated college, I was like, all right, now I got some free time, so let me delve into a little bit of a hobby, and airsoft was that choice.
Okay, and for people that know nothing, and the only reason I know what airsoft is, my son was really into it for a period of time. They look like real weapons, but they shoot what essentially is like a little plastic ball using compressed air pressure, correct? Is that accurate?
That is a great way to say it. So they are 6mm plastic BBs. So again, just polished pieces of plastic, and they mimic real guns, like the ones we play in a lot of video games, which is where the big interest is, because you play it on the computer. They want to experience it in real life, so this is the opportunity that a lot of people have enjoyed doing that.
Is there a lot of crossover between paintball people and airsoft people, or are they like two, different factions?
Yeah, I think that's funny because everybody doesn't want to be compared, but they are such an overlapping and similar sport that you have people delve into both sides.
Yeah. So, and just for complete background, did you ever shoot real guns, or do you own any real guns?
I've shot some real guns, going out to the shooting range and stuff, but I have not personally owned any real firearms.
Yeah. So you get these airsoft weapons, and then what's the point? Is it target shooting? Is it shooting one another? Is it, like you said, computer where you're playing in a simulation, or how's it work?
So there's a handful of different ways to play airsoft. I mean, some people just enjoy the collecting side of it. They don't want to collect real steel. Maybe they just like certain styles of rifles or something, so they just collect those for fun. Some people like test shooting, so you can build your own little shooting range to shoot in the backyard with them. Where I spend most of my time is going recreational on the weekends. So there's a local airsoft facility in Lagodi, and we'll go out there, and it'll be like force on force. So say like 20 people playing against 20 people, and you're, we're wearing iPro and stuff. That's a standardized safety thing, but it's just like trying to eliminate the other team.
How do you? I mean, those BBs are so small. How do you even know if you've been hit?
You know.
Oh, do you really? I mean, can it harm someone, or like take out a bird or something, or how much power is behind one of these things?
Yeah, so we measure the energy behind a BB in something called joules, and we have them regulated within typically under 2 joules, and 1.5 is that sweet spot where pretty much everybody plays at. And we wear iPro, but that is about the minimum requirement of safety. They won't break skin. They will bruise, and you'll feel it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like getting stung by a bee.
Okay, and your family keeps bees, and that's a topic for another day. But what I wanted to get at is you kind of melded your technical abilities here, your expertise in media, and your hobby, airsoft, and it's taking you all over the place, which is really mind-boggling when you come back and tell, well, I was in Portland, Oregon, or I was in New England
Yeah.
for the weekend. So describe how that happened.
Very unexpected circumstances that arose. So the same place in Lagodi here owns a place in Jasper, an indoor place, and they play a regulated version of airsoft. So like how we have basketball, there's street ball where you
Right.
guys just get a few guys out there and play, but
Pickup
then you
game.
play NBA, right, where there's regulations and refs. There's a version of that for airsoft, and I was like, man, this is really cool. You guys should stream it. Nobody anywhere streams it, and they're like, well, we don't know how to do that. And I was like, well,
Gee, I know how to do that.
so they gave me a check essentially, and they're like, here, get us up and going. And I built them a streaming rig, and then a place in Martinsville was also doing tournaments, and we just found out about them. It's like, well, can we go there and stream their tournaments? They let us go in there. And then the next thing I knew, I was going to Nashville and streaming there. And
Nashville, Tennessee, not Indiana, right?
yes, Nashville,
the
Tennessee.
real Nashville,
Big
Vegas.
difference.
Okay.
And every place that I've gone to, it was initially to help set up a streaming service. And then they're like, well, we need somebody to either run it or teach somebody to run it and then announce for it. And nobody wanted to do it. So by luck of virtue, I ended up getting into the announcing side of it. And then that's where it really all took off. I got to go to here in Indiana, Nashville, Rhode Island, Florida, California. I've been to the Netherlands, and then most recently, I just came back from the UAE.
Yeah, okay, and we're going to get to that in a second. So when you put this stream up, how many are on the other end looking at it? I mean, do you look at metrics? Do you care, or what's the point of streaming it?
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity for the players to go back and watch footage
Sure.
that they've competed in.
Yeah.
But it's also for the family members that don't get the opportunity to go there and watch in person. So in terms of metrics, I feel like we've always hit around like 1,500 viewers to 3,000. And then probably the biggest event we had was 7,000. These are all metrics on YouTube specifically, which is our main streaming.
And then people look at it later. So you're looking at how many looked at it live and everything. So when you go out and shoot these events, then is it a multi-camera setup and you're calling shots like you used to do here? Or how does that work?
So again, this is a limitation of budget. So most of the time we've done the production with 5 or less cameras. And so that would look like...
Which is almost as many as we have in our studio,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I'm assuming one on the target, one on the shooter, and then a wide shot. What else do you have? Or do you have them like GoPros? Or what kind of cameras are we talking?
We've covered the entire spectrum there. So we've had fixed cameras. We've had PTZ cameras. And for the people wondering what that is, pan, tilt, and zoom. So they're robotic cameras that can point. We've had manned cameras. And we've had first-person view cameras, which I think is probably the most exciting way for people to watch because you get to experience it like a video game, first-person view of
Almost
what's
like
going on.
a body cam or GoPro would be then.
Exactly.
Okay, so from the shooter's point of view. And so when these feeds come in, you said you kind of casually tossed off, you build a rig for them. But this sounds pretty sophisticated. You need a switcher in between the cameras and the stream output. and of course somebody to either take shots, call shots, or do both, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in a sense, because it's a live event, you don't have a script, so you got to know what you're looking for, right?
Oh yeah, I imagine like it's a little bit of how you're covering severe weather. I mean,
Yeah,
you can see the play develop.
but you're part of that too when we do severe weather coverage, and you kind of know where we're going after a while and anticipate. So when you're in these events, then and then how is it output to the internet? Are you just using a phone, or do you have a hotspot, or how do you do that part?
It's grown over the years. We started with just a cell phone hotspot, but then we'd get internet in the facility. But yeah, it all ties in, like you said, into a switcher. We have a network set up that all the cameras can tie into. We have an audio board with the mics going into that, field mics, the announcer mics. It all comes out just like a router off a computer. OBS is a very common term that
Yeah,
people are familiar with.
open broadcast software or something or other.
Mhm.
It's open source where it's free, right? I mean, you just set it up on a computer, and we were using that in the pandemic for like home chroma key and all that kind of stuff.
It's very useful.
Yeah. So you're doing the technical side, which you know cold, and now they say, well, we put a mic on him, and now you got to start filling time. So what are you talking about when this is going on? Like, you know the players' names or I don't I guess
Yeah.
are they numbered, or how does that work?
So I cover something called speed soft in it. So there's typically two forms of airsoft that I feel like are the main two categories: milsim or military simulation, and then speed soft, which is more like that structured format. It's 5v5. The players wear jerseys, so they have their last name, just like in basketball, on top with the numbers on their back, and that is one means for me to understand who's on the field, where they're at, because they're covered in face protection. You don't get to see like
They
a
all look
face.
alike, right?
They do all look alike. So that is one means, but I like to humanize the event. I feel like most people have come to really enjoy Speedsoft when they can root for a team because they know that team. They know some stories about the guys, and it's just really humanized.
So do you have to
everything.
go out and kind of collect the backstory, the color, basically? So
Exactly.
you're doing play-by-play and color, unless you have somebody else working with you. And then, of course, you have to recall this stuff, right? So is that a challenge for you? And then what's the output? Like, what would it just give me, just pretend like we're watching an event right now.
Yeah.
So what would it be? Let's say Byron is my opponent, Byron Douglas, and it's me, and I'm hiding behind the weather desk. And so what would the call be for that?
Well, Byron Douglas, we've seen him perform time and time again. He's been a valued asset to the weather team here competing in this event, and time again he's proven himself worthy. And we can see him rushing around the corner, and he's got Jeff on his back heels. He's going to get the elimination. That's going to open it up for his team to rush down the field and get a flag hang. That's going to win them the match.
Yeah. So when you said run down the field, is there actually like a playing grid or something that you're on, and are there places to hide, or what are we just running at each other?
Yeah, we're painting the whole story here. So it is, I believe, 30 meters or 36 meters by 18 meters. So it's a big pitch or field, however you want to call it. It is wet hockey AstroTurf. So we like to wet down the field. There's a membrane underneath it, so that when players are diving and sliding on the field, they can slide further with less friction.
Right.
And there are bunkers on the field, or that's what we call them, structures of some sort. They come in two different sizes, 3 feet tall or 6 feet tall, in various shapes. And they'll be plotted around the field in certain means to create strategies to.
And does that change with each match, or is it a standard? There's always going to be a 6-foot bunker here and a 3-foot one there, or how does that work?
Depending on the league, they will either set it for an event or set it for the year. And this was an event, the most recent thing, so it was only set up for that tournament. and then they're done with that layout.
Yeah, and so is the goal to like take the center of the field or capture a flag, or what's the goal that you're defending against the offense?
Yeah, they have a few different objectives. There is a flag, which is the center objective. It will start in the middle of the field, and both teams are racing to get to it. First team to grab that flag will be awarded points, and then for the rest of that single round, they just eliminate each other. And then the following 4 rounds, which will conclude the entirety of that matchup, one team will attack, the other team will defend. They'll alternate. If you can take the flag when you're attacking to the other team's wall where they started out, you will be awarded points.
Okay, so it's a point thing then in the very end, and very much strategy, of course. Did they run plays, kind of like football would be, or
Oh, yeah.
soccer?
Yeah,
So-
sacrificial plays. So
Yeah.
you send a player rushing down, let's say, the right side of the field. With them running down the side of that field, even if they get eliminated, all the opponents typically like avert their gaze that way because they're like, oh, there's somebody running up on us.
It's a distraction. You're
Just-
right.
Yeah, Trojan horse.
Okay. Okay. Well, I like it. Yeah, and it's got its own lingo too, I suppose. Right.
Yes.
So now you're on a plane going overseas to the United Arab Emirates. Have you ever been out of the country?
I have been twice, but both of them were for airsoft events in the
Oh,
Netherlands.
you said Netherlands. That's right. So
But it's a little bit of a long jump across the pond.
yeah, but they're paying for this, right? Or are you doing this out of the goodness of your heart?
It was I've always enjoyed covering these events if they can cover my means to get there and
Sure,
back.
yeah.
So they covered my hoteling, my food, my flights. I never had to get a taxi or anything. They took me to the venues and back the whole time. It was, covered from A to Z so that I could just be there to help cover the event.
Now you said you went to you said Netherlands, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Not a big gun place in real life, with
Sure.
actual guns, a lot of regulations and so forth. So how did airsoft take root there?
That's a good question.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me back up. Were there a lot of people there?
Yes, I would say on a professional front, the Netherlands is probably the strongest location. They're like the heart of airsoft at this time with what they're doing in the competitive scene. So
In the whole world, or in Europe, or what are we talking?
I would say in the whole world, but the UAE is putting a hard start here to
So
do it as well.
So you wind up in the United Arab Emirates, and you were there. Was it 2 weeks? It was
2
It
weeks.
took a long time because I remember thinking, "Where'd Caleb go? He's not around." So you're overseas at these competitions. You have to get your gear over there, right? You have to get and weapons and so on. What's that process like? I mean, I'm sure the airlines aren't particularly thrilled about having a kind of look-alike,
Oh, yeah.
machine gun in a suitcase. So how do you do that?
I will add real quickly to this. I did get a unique insight to this, as even though I was just announcing for the event, my local team ended up competing in the World Airsoft Games in the UAE. So I was a little bit of a middleman in coordinating how they can get their equipment over. So they have a event coordinator of an event, and he is in contact with all the captains of all the teams that are coming to compete. And essentially, you, as a captain, would give them a list of all the equipment you're bringing over. And from there, they will submit a document to the local government. And Airsoft, we have a handful of groups that have organized stuff with the government to help get
Right.
paperwork that can help us compete and make these events happen. So once we have that documentation sent to them, they'll get a form filled out for us. We send it back, and for the most part, it's just putting all your equipment in a hard case with TSA locks on it, and that paperwork, a copy with you and a copy in your equipment, and they'll inspect it at the airport.
And these all have the orange tip on them, correct or no? So to indicate it's an airsoft weapon as opposed to a real weapon.
I believe that is specifically to the USA regulation.
To have the orange tip, or color
On
tip.
sale.
Yeah.
After you buy it, we typically remove them and put a device on the front that will allow us to illuminate BB so you can see them when they're flying.
Okay.
But around the world, that regulation changes. So I think it's still a good idea to put the orange tip on them.
You told me that it was pretty tight ship in the United Arab Emirates, where if you weren't in the venue competing, like if you just happened to walk out on the sidewalk, big trouble, right?
Yeah. So again, safety is a huge deal to the UAE, and it is, in most nations. And they're still adjusting and setting exactly what they want for the regulations there to be. If you currently got caught mishandling an airsoft rifle outside the premise of the event, you could serve something like 7 years jail time or something like that.
Yeah. So you probably didn't want to ever even go near a weapon, right, while you were there. Plus, you were doing the commentary. Now, do you have to have like a translator in there when you're in a foreign country where they don't necessarily speak English? Like if you're in the Netherlands or wherever else you were, is there somebody between you, or do we use AI now just to translate it, or
supposedly? So this event was really cool in the sense that we were actually televised to 150 countries, as well as being on air,
like broadcast television.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have not gotten the opportunity to hunt down some clips, but I believe somewhere in the pipeline there was supposed to be some software that was able to convert our voice and language to the local languages.
Whatever it was, yeah. Interesting.
My co-host, Ayman, he was a local, or he is a local. He's still around.
Yeah, he's still over there.
And so we would take turns just to help cover the event locally as well as nationally. He would cover some of it in Arabic, and I would continue it in English.
Mm-hmm. And what was there a crowd at the venue to watch, to turn out, like you just sit in the stands and watch this take place?
I cannot tell you. The way they built this venue was like to a T, like perfect. They left no expense undone, and the floor was the field, but then you could walk upstairs, and so basically on the second floor was a glass bowl all the way around the field, so that you didn't have to have eye pro on, but you could be looking down on the field and you could see all the positions on the field.
Watch it unfold, kind of like being right over a chessboard or a game board where you could see the whole thing, right?
I think hockey would be a good comparison if you were like, elevated a little bit higher up, but similar concept in how you can see a hockey game. Yeah.
Is there a clock for the game?
Yes, there is. There's a clock above each team's starting position, as well as a scoreboard in the middle of the field on one of the sides.
Mm-hmm.
So you could see where you are in score position if you needed to, we need this many points to win this match.
Right.
But then you would also be able to watch the clock, kind of like a shot clock in basketball.
Mm-hmm. Is there a requirement, like you must take a shot in, like in baseball, you have to pitch within so many seconds, football, etc.
I gotcha.
Is the same thing then to keep it moving, or no?
So to accommodate the amount of teams that were competing in this event, which there were a lot, they shortened the length of the game so that you didn't really have to worry about making a play within a certain amount of time. There were only 1:30 rounds.
Oh, okay, real fast then.
Yes,
yeah.
And 5 rounds to a match.
Mm-hmm.
So they went really quick, so you didn't really have the time to lollygag. You ended up always just like going for the flag.
Where were the teams from? All over the world, right?
All over the world. We had teams from USA, local teams in UAE. There's a team from South Korea, an all-women team. I met some teams from Russia, Belgium, England, the UK. I mean, they were all over the place.
Is it hard for any of the airsoft people to get weapons in their countries like Russia or, someplace like that? Or they just go on Amazon like everybody else? Or how do you get your weapons?
I think there's challenges everywhere,
Yeah.
but and for example, I said there was a team from South Korea. Airsoft isn't a legal sport in South Korea, so even though they came and competed, all the airsoft related gear that they got to use was actually acquired locally in the UAE. So they got it for the event, used it there, and left it, and then went back home.
Makes you wonder though where they practice. You know, they must have to do it in their basement or something
Yeah.
like that. So you mentioned earlier there was an all women's team, and I was going to ask that question. If you had to kind of give me a picture of a typical airsofter, if there is such a thing, what is that? I would think it would be you, like a guy in his mid-20s, you know, that has a little.
I'm flattered.
Right, right. No, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So what's a typical player? What's the spectrum?
It ranges. I think in the U.S. it is a younger based audience. So you'll find in the U.S. I think 10 to 20 is probably the majority of airsofters. An example to help understand this situation in the Netherlands, since we've referenced them before, they can't. Their guns or their airsoft guns are treated like real guns, so you have to have a firearm license there. You can't get a firearm license until I think 18.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody that plays the sport there is 18 or older. So
I
they
see.
take it very serious there because
Yeah.
they've already, they've gotten of age where it's like, if I'm going to do something like this, I'm going to be serious. But yeah, the age range, it covers a wide spectrum. I've seen people in their 50s play as well.
Yeah. Pie chart, men, women, 50-50, 70
Definitely not 50-50.
90-10, what would you say?
I would say probably for every like 95 guys, there's probably like a girl or two.
Okay, so about 1%.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a pretty small percentile.
It's interesting, but it's growing though, right? I mean, clearly, if you're doing these competitions around the world, and you've talked about several places in Indiana, you said Lagodi, Martinsville, and many other spots. So those weren't there 20 years ago, right?
No, yeah. I mean, it's somebody that's taken an interest and says, "Hey, I have a facility, or I have some property that I can house this and let this accumulate," is really what starts growing it in whatever your local bubble is. And then they're like, there's just getting enough interest for these people that have some serious money to, like, hey, I want to put on a big venue for this, and it's just constantly growing. But
Yeah. Is there an adrenaline rush? I mean, even though you know you're not really going to get hurt, and you're on the field, and you're going for the flag, or you're defending someone, is there that like what's
I
the
see what
thing
you're
that keeps
saying.
people coming back?
There's something about just like you can't turn it off mentally. Just that notion of like, okay, if I go out here into the open, there is a chance that I get hit, and there's something about just building up the courage to do it. And if you succeed, like, it is just like a wave of adrenaline that hits you afterwards. You're like, all right, I like that. I want to keep you get hooked on it. You want to try keep getting that feeling.
Yeah. What'd you do with your downtime in United Arab Emirates? Did you sightsee? Or sleep? I mean, what'd you do?
Man, I don't think I got more than 5 hours of sleep the entire 2 weeks that I was there.
You can do that though, because you're in your
young,
mid-20s.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, and I'm in my co-host. He was so nice. He took me one day to go sightseeing before all the tournaments stuff started, because we knew once that picked up, we were done.
Right. Right.
So I got to see. I'm gonna have to reference.
That's all right. You can use notes on here.
Oh, well, it's just mostly because I can't say it cleanly. My favorite thing, though, to visit was the Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan Mosque.
Okay.
It's a huge, gorgeous mosque, and Ayman got me clothed in a. I've said the name a dozen times today. Now I'm not gonna remember.
It's all right.
But I had all the white robes.
Fancy clothes.
Yeah,
Say
yeah.
that. Yeah. Probably what you would not wear to the store, say in Petersburg.
Oh,
You'd
no,
probably
no, no.
look a little out of place there, but which is where you're from. But did you ever dream that a hobby like that would take you around the world, literally? I mean,
Not
what are
at
the
all.
odds?
Yeah, not at all. I keep saying to myself, I'm like, how am I in this position? I'm waiting for I was like, somebody's got to be better at this. It's got to step up to the plate. And everybody keeps saying I'm doing a good job, and I'm trying my best. And I just want to represent every team, regardless of where they're from or who they're competing against. Like even the teams that competed against my local team. I just wanted to cover them all the best of my ability so that they can go home and be happy with how they were represented and how they performed in the events.
Yeah.
And so far, that's done well for me.
Yeah, it seems to be. Now, but we're going to keep you around here because we do need you here, doing your thing. Whether it's
You guys held the fort for 2 weeks while I was gone, right?
we did. But it's nice to know that you're back here, along with your compatriots in our technical media production suite back here. We have a lot of great men and women that work here that keep us on the air and make us look good, and you're one of those. And I guess if the airsoft's break out, we'll have somebody to talk about that too.
Yeah.
Okay, Caleb, thanks so much for sharing your story. That's really interesting, and good luck with it. Maybe we'll have you back in a year and see how much more it's. Maybe you'll be the first one to do it from the moon.
Yeah,
Right?
there we go.
You gotta shoot high, right? With Caleb Freeland, I'm Jeff Lyons. This has been Inside Look. You can watch or listen to all the Inside Look podcasts wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch on the 14 News YouTube channel. With Caleb, I'm Jeff Lyons. Thanks for joining.